Arena Wars. All right, let the battle begin. Fight for survival and all this good stuff here. Yeah, let's actually see what this one is about. In 2045, convicted criminals are given the opportunity to compete on the world's #1 televised sporting event, Arena Wars. So much for sports. They must survive 7 rooms and 7 of the most vicious killers in the country. If they win, they regain their freedom. All right. Yeah, I guess so much for football and basketball and all those other good sports. For different times, different times. Yeah, this is a new film just being released. So we'll try to keep this kind of spoiler free. There might be a few twists and turns here, but we'll leave that for you guys to figure out. And also should mention that I did receive a screener for this one, so kind of get that out there as well. Yeah, we have obviously a little bit time here in the future. Different times. Times have changed. Not sure what's going on in this kind of universe, this world that's created. But we still have prisoners, still have some bad people who've done bad things, and they're locked up, and things aren't looking good for them. But Arena Wars may be a way out out of this, out of jail, or maybe out of their lives. I don't know. It depends on how good you are. Yeah, the show is going on, and it's got some broadcasters. It's on TV. Got a fan base there that you're gonna see, and yeah, 2 or it could be more. People are kind of in this small arena setting, and yeah, it's a battle for your life basically. Either you kill one of these murder killer guys that are there, or you're dead yourself, and apparently there's several stages to it, and obviously if you get all the way through, you're gonna survive, and apparently it's a hard thing to do, and not too many people have done it. The show seemed to be popular, but at a certain point it has maybe fallen off a bit. Maybe ratings have kind of started to slide. And I guess people are just not really caring that prisoners are dying anymore, or it's just not the same. So the big shots here of this that kind of run the show and so forth have to figure out a new way to kind of get the audience's attention and get the audience back and kind of focused on the Arena Wars here. What they do is they kind of select or go through the prisoner list here and find someone who maybe isn't such a bad person. It turns out that most of these prisoners are really bad people, and if they die or not, it doesn't really matter. But they do find the one guy who might be imprisoned and might have taken a bad fall for somebody and maybe didn't really deserve to be there. So they decide to kind of make him the star, or the one for the audience to know, and maybe kind of turn it so that the audience is really rooting for him and rooting for him to survive, as opposed to just watching these other prisoners die. Kind of trying to turn the tables a little bit. And what basically happens is him, along with a bunch of other prisoners, kind of are in a team, and they get to go in, and as a team, if they all survive, whoever survives has a chance at freedom, but more than likely a lot of people are going to die. So that's kind of the gist of the battle that's going to happen, and what is kind of taking place here. You'll get an introduction to obviously this guy, this good prisoner that they're kind of turned the focus on, and you'll get introduced to some of the prisoners that are on his team and who are going to go to battle with him. And we'll say that this is not a great, fantastically put together team. Some are gonna like each other, some don't. Um, some are ready to fight, some are not. Some have different strengths and so forth. So it's not huge strategy here. They try to have a little strategy, but it's not really a big thing here. Again, it is you just kind of going in there and fighting for your life. They do try, but I mean, at the end of the day, it is once they start fighting, the fight is on. So again, um, like I said, there will be some twists and turns in the story here and what ultimately unfolds. Um, there's some things going on here with the arena wars behind the scenes. Besides the ratings slipping and so forth. You like it says here, there's going to be these killers, these murderers. They're the ones you're fighting. The prisoners are fighting against in the arena, and you'll learn a little bit about them. They are big and scary for the most part. A different mix, of weapons that are used. Each of them kind of has their own thing going on, and there's a little bit something else going on with them, and I'll leave that for you guys to see. Obviously they're pretty good at killing. They've killed apparently really a lot of people so far, and let the games begin. For me, like I said, I think as the story unfolds, and even with some of the twists and turns, I don't think it was too surprising to me with what happened and kind of what went through. I guess one of the things is to see who is eventually going to survive. Like I said, you're going to get introduced to a lot of people within the group. You can kindly fairly early on tell that maybe the first ones that are going to kind of die, but as it goes along, who's really going to survive, who's not. Might be one thing that's kind of up for grabs. Like I said, there are some other things that are going to come in the story as well, and some twists and turns towards the end. Didn't shock me too much. I kind of was expecting some of those things. I think the big thing here is the fighting and that. There's lots of blood spilled, lots of people are going to get injured, lots of people are going to get killed. So the body count, will start to go as we roll on here. And, that's kind of the fun part here. That's, if you're looking for the horror of it and the real reason to watch this movie, is probably going to boil down to the fight scenes and fighting these killers and the prisoners that are going to end up dying because let's face it, there's a large group of them going in because a lot of them are going to die. So we are going to get some blood and different injuries here. Some people are going to get injured and kind of fight through it, and other people are just going to die. One thing I did kind of like is that it was kind of, they had a moment here too where there were kind of some surprises as the fighting was going on. I don't want to mention too specifically because then that kind of ruins it, but there was a surprise here too. I guess it's kind of when a killer kind of appeared or not. And then there's the other thing where you might want to watch your head at times. So, I'll leave it at that. One thing I wish they did a little bit different. I mean, it said there were 7 rooms, so it seemed like, they were going in and out. But it seemed like a lot of the rooms, it was just very similar. It was just, an arena circle, and then there's like usually these poles in them. And I wish that maybe there was a little bit more variety in where they were fighting and so forth to kind of give it a little bit, something a little bit different and maybe add something else to the fight scenes. I think they made decent use of where these poles were and or these columns, whatever you want to call them, and incorporating them with the fight and how the people were kind of separated. Like I said, they did still manage a surprise or two. Um, but I wish it just seemed a little bit different, more different every time they were kind of taking on one of these killers. Um, it's a minor complaint. It just seemed like it maybe would have added something a little bit more if the rooms seemed a little bit more different. But I get it. It was probably a smaller budget and whatever, and they didn't want to make too many changes with that. And probably easier to film and so forth. But overall, yeah, the fight scenes were pretty good. I don't think they did anything too bad. Like I said, some decent blood there and so forth. And I think that's much the main horror, the main reason to really get into to this movie are those moments. Um, but yeah, the acting is okay. I think they try to mix in a character or two that may give a little bit of comic relief, not anything over the top. Um, like I said, you there are different prisoners there. You may like some, you may not like others. When some may die, you may be happy, or some die, you may be sad. Um, there are some women here too. It's not all men. So I think, and there's one that does a pretty good job. I thought it was good watching her fight. She did a pretty good job there, and yeah. So that's pretty much all I can say here. If you're just looking for something a little bit different, something more fighting horror, kind of along that kind of line, this might be the movie for you. And a little bit maybe action horror. Maybe that this is also it for you. So with that, I think I'm going to give it 2 pools of blood here. That is out of 5. A reminder that this is a new release, and if I remember, I will try to include the link for the press release so you guys can get a little bit more information and about the film and and you can check out the trailer there. I'll try to stick that down below as well for you. So with that, horrorgory-reviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews, written and video, and definitely mostly video as of late for a while now. So like, subscribe, and do everything that everybody wants you to do here on YouTube. If not, no worries. It is truly okay. But I thank you for your time regardless. And Twitter, Facebook information down below as well. If you want to talk horror, talk about this movie, you want me to review something, feel free to reach out to me there. And also in the comment section, feel free to do so there as well. And if you eventually see this movie, feel free to chime in down below as well with your comments and let everybody else know what you thought as well. So with that, I guess I'll catch you on the next review, horror fans.